Captain Aaron stepped carefully on the soft, glowing ground of the alien world. The forest around him pulsed with light, as if every plant and tree had a heartbeat. He had never seen anything like it. His mission was to explore new planets for the Galactic Alliance, but this world felt alive in a way that made him both nervous and excited. Strange shapes floated in the sky. Some looked like ships, others like giant fish, and all shimmered in colors he could not name. Aaron adjusted his helmet and checked his map. According to his sensors, a high-energy signal had appeared near the center of the forest. Curiosity pushed him forward, even though every instinct told him to wait for backup. He was alone, yes, but humans had always been known for their courage, or recklessness, depending on who told the story. As he walked, he noticed the plants moving slightly, almost as if they were watching him. Tiny lights darted through the air like fireflies, but brighter. Aaron smiled nervously. "Okay, this is new," he muttered. "But hey, I've seen worse." And he had. On other worlds, he had walked through storms of acid rain, fields of razor-sharp crystals, and even swamps with creatures that hissed and lunged. But something about this place was different. The light wasn't threatening. It was curious, like the forest wanted him to find something. After a while, he reached a clearing. Before him stood a structure taller than any building he had seen, made of what looked like crystal and liquid metal combined. The surface shimmered in shifting colors. Bridges of light connected towers in impossible ways, floating mid-air without support. He could see figures moving inside. Tall, graceful beings with limbs longer than humans, their skin faintly glowing. They were doing something that looked like a dance, but Aaron quickly realized it was a ritual, probably important. Then he noticed someone standing on a balcony, looking down at the gardens below. Her presence made him stop in his tracks. She was taller than a human, elegant with flowing garments that reflected light like liquid silver. Her hair glowed softly, and her eyes, large, luminous, watched the courtyard with a calm authority. Captain Aaron didn't know who she was, but he immediately knew she was important. There was a weight to her, a presence that commanded attention without a single word. Before he could decide what to do, he tripped on a root, landing with a loud thud. The sound echoed strangely in the open courtyard. Every figure in the building turned to look at him. The elegant figure, he now realized she must be the princess, gasped audibly. Her usual calm expression broke, replaced by pure shock. Aaron scrambled to his feet, hands raised. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to intrude." His voice sounded strange, even to him in the helmet's translator. He tried to make himself smaller, hoping she would not see him as a threat. But the princess stepped forward, her eyes widening as she studied him. The court behind her seemed frozen. Advisors, guards, and attendants all looked at him, some whispering in a language he could not understand. He lifted his hand again, trying a universal gesture of peace. "I come in peace. I'm an explorer. I didn't know anyone lived here." The princess's glow dimmed slightly as she raised her hand. Then in perfect calm she spoke, but Aaron could not understand her words. He activated his translator and held it up. "Do you understand me?" he asked. The princess tilted, her head studying the device, then nodded slowly. The translator buzzed and began converting her words. "You are human," the device said. Her voice was soft but firm. "How did you enter the palace?" Aaron swallowed. "I followed a signal. I didn't know this was your palace." "I'm sorry." Her gaze sharpened, and Aaron felt like she was looking straight into his thoughts. "This is forbidden territory. No human has ever entered." He tried to explain further, stepping slightly closer, but keeping his hands visible. "I wasn't looking to intrude, I promise. I'm just exploring. I saw something unusual, energy readings I couldn't identify, and it led me here. I'll leave immediately if you wish." The princess's eyes flickered with curiosity, and for a moment the shock faded. She studied him carefully, then lowered her hand. "You are reckless," she said. "Yet not entirely foolish. Aaron blinked. He had been called many things in his life: crazy, brave, clever, but never not entirely foolish. He relaxed slightly. "I'll take that as a compliment," he said, smiling. She seemed to consider him for a moment longer, then waved a hand, signaling him to follow. He hesitated, unsure if it was an invitation or a command, but curiosity won. He stepped forward, slowly. The halls of the palace were beyond anything he could have imagined. Light flowed along the floors in ribbons, forming patterns that seemed alive. The walls were smooth, yet images shifted across them. Scenes of the alien world, planets, stars, and creatures he could barely comprehend. Sounds filled the air, musical tones that seemed to resonate with his heartbeat. The princess walked with him, maintaining a careful distance. "Humans are different," she said quietly. "I have studied your kind from afar, but to see one here, in my home, it is astonishing." Aaron chuckled nervously. "I guess I'm full of surprises." He looked around, careful not to touch anything. "Your palace, it's incredible. I've never seen anything like this." She glanced at him, a faint smile forming. "Few have. Our world is private. But you came without fear. That is unusual for a human." As they moved deeper into the palace, Aaron noticed guards watching him with caution. None approached, but their eyes followed his every move. He wondered if they were expecting him to make a mistake, or if the princess had told them to let him pass. Either way, he felt the weight of their gaze and tried to stay calm. Finally, they reached a large room with a view of the city below. Bridges of light connected towers that floated in the air. Ships moved silently between them, and he could see citizens going about their day. The sight made him catch his breath. "This is," he began, but words failed him. "The heart of our world," the princess said softly. She stood near the edge of the platform, looking at him with those bright, curious eyes. "You see, humans are capable of courage, but also recklessness. You have stepped where none should, yet you are still alive." Aaron smiled. "I've had close calls before, but this is something new, and I promise I don't want trouble. I just want to learn, to understand your world." She regarded him silently, then nodded. "Very well. You may stay. For a short time, but know this, one wrong move and you will regret it." He nodded, understanding the gravity of her words. "I understand. Thank you." For the first time since he arrived, he felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps this unexpected encounter would not end badly. Perhaps humans and her people could learn from each other. The princess's gaze softened slightly. "We shall see," she said. "For now, you may watch, observe, learn." Aaron looked out over the city, feeling a strange mix of fear and wonder. He had entered unexpectedly, shocked a princess, and yet here he was, alive, and standing in the heart of an alien world. His heart raced with excitement. This was the beginning of something extraordinary. Little did he know his arrival had already begun to stir curiosity, and perhaps even admiration, in the heart of the princess. A human in the palace was unheard of, but now he was here, and neither of them would ever forget this first encounter. Captain Aaron woke early the next day. The light outside his temporary quarters shimmered in soft shades of blue and green. He had barely slept, his mind still buzzing from the previous day's events. He had entered the palace unexpectedly and shocked the princess. Now he was allowed to stay, but he knew he had to be careful. Every step mattered. Every word mattered. He stepped out of the room and found the princess waiting for him in the main corridor. She stood with her hands folded, her glow calm but bright. "Good morning," Aaron said, trying to sound casual. He knew that on Earth greetings were simple, but on this planet he had no idea what was expected. The princess inclined her head slightly. "We have much to show you if you are ready." Aaron nodded. "I am." They walked together through the palace. The halls were alive with light and sound. Walls shifted, showing images of distant planets and strange creatures. The floor beneath them seemed to flow like water, yet it held firm. Aaron's eyes widened. Each step he took felt like walking through a dream. "This palace is incredible," he said. "I have never seen technology like this, or life like this." Princess Lyra glanced at him. "Our technology is not separate from life. It grows with it. We do not build machines and creatures apart. We work with them together." Aaron tried to understand. He had learned about alien technologies before, but nothing like this. He saw walls that healed themselves when scratched, floors that adapted to the person walking, and lights that changed with mood and sound. The palace was alive, and it seemed to notice him. They entered a large chamber filled with strange devices. Energy flowed from one device to another like rivers of light. Aliens moved gracefully, adjusting controls with fingers that glowed faintly. "These are our engineers," Lyra said. "They maintain the energy flows of the palace. It is delicate work." One engineer looked frustrated, working on a broken conduit. Sparks flew and the light flickered dangerously. Aaron's eyes lit up. "I can try," he said. The princess raised an eyebrow but nodded. He approached the device, examining it carefully. Though he had never seen this technology before, he understood the basic principles. Energy flows, circuits, connections. Humans had worked with electricity for centuries. Using his experience and logic, he adjusted the conduit, carefully realigning the energy streams. The light steadied, flowing smoothly. The engineers gasped, and the princess's eyes widened. "You fixed it?" she asked, astonished. Aaron shrugged. "Just a simple human trick. Sometimes seeing something from a different perspective helps." Lyra studied him. "Humans, your minds are unusual. You think in ways we do not. That is interesting." The engineers looked at him, with curiosity, some even smiling. Aaron realized that he had earned respect, not through strength or diplomacy, but by using his mind, something humans excelled at. For the first time since his arrival, he felt a sense of belonging, even in this strange palace. Lyra led him to another chamber, this one filled with plants that glowed softly. "These are the heart gardens. They maintain the balance of our energy flows. Each plant responds to emotion, to thought. Humans, have you anything like this?" Aaron shook his head. "Not exactly. We have gardens, yes, but nothing alive in that way. Everything is separate, technology and nature." She smiled faintly. "Perhaps that is why humans are curious. You look for connections where others see only separation." As they walked, Aaron noticed citizens moving along suspended bridges outside the palace. They were tall and graceful, with clothing that reflected light. Some carried instruments, others worked with devices that seemed to float in midair. Everything was elegant, efficient, and alive. "Your people are amazing," he said. "They move like dancers, but work like engineers. And they seem happy?" Lyra looked at him with a serious expression. "Happiness is not simple. It comes from purpose and understanding. Humans, you have purpose, yes, but understanding often comes slowly. You have courage. That is why you are here." They paused in a chamber where holographic stars floated around them. Aaron reached out to touch one, and it rippled like water. Lyra laughed softly, a musical sound. "You are fearless, human. Or reckless." "I prefer fearless," he said, smiling. "Reckless sounds bad." She shook her head slightly. "Perhaps both. But I sense honesty in you. That is rare." As they continued, a sudden alert sounded in the palace. Lyra's glow brightened with concern. "A minor disturbance," she explained. "Do not worry, it is contained." Aaron frowned. "Disturbance like an attack?" She shook her head. "No, it is internal, a device malfunction. But it reminds us that even in beauty there is danger." They moved quickly to the source. Aaron noticed a smaller engineer struggling with a delicate control panel. Without hesitation, he stepped forward and helped, guiding the engineer's hands and adjusting settings. Within moments, the problem was resolved. The princess watched, quietly, her expression softening. "You help without hesitation," she said. "Humans, you act, even without knowing all the consequences. That is both dangerous and admirable." Aaron nodded. "It is our way. We act with our hearts and minds together. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But we try." Lyra studied him, her eyes thoughtful. "I see why the other humans I have observed are different. You do not fear the unknown. You embrace it. That is unusual." They walked through a corridor filled with pools of glowing liquid. The liquid shifted with every step, reflecting their images but also showing possibilities, visions of what might happen if they acted in certain ways. Aaron leaned closer. "This is incredible," he said. "It's like seeing the future in reflections." Lyra nodded. "It helps us understand consequences, but even we cannot predict everything. That is why humans, your unpredictability, is valuable. You bring what we lack, creativity in chaos." Aaron felt a sense of pride. He had always believed that humans were resourceful, but to hear it acknowledged by an alien princess in her palace, it was extraordinary. As the day went on, Lyra led him to a quiet garden. Strange flowers opened as he approached, their petals glowing in response to his presence. He knelt to examine them, amazed at how they reacted to his touch. Lyra watched silently. "You are learning quickly," she said. "Yet there is more to our world than technology and gardens. You must learn our customs, our ways of thought. Humans. Do you have patience?" Aaron laughed softly. "I try. Sometimes it is hard, but I can learn." Lyra smiled faintly. "Good. You will need it. Understanding our culture is not easy, but you are unusual. Perhaps you can succeed." As the sun, if it could be called that, began to set, the palace shimmered in shades of purple and gold. Aaron and Lyra stood side by side, looking at the city below. He felt a strange connection forming, not just to her, but to the world itself. It was alive, vibrant, and full of possibilities. "You are different from what I expected," Lyra said quietly. "Most humans would panic, flee, or cause chaos. You adapt. You observe. You act." Aaron shrugged. "I guess that's what we do. We survive, and we try to help." She nodded. "Then perhaps humans are not what my people feared. Perhaps there is value in knowing you." The moment hung between them, quiet but meaningful. Aaron realized that he had gained something rare, not just knowledge of an alien world, but a spark of trust and curiosity from its princess. As night fell, the palace lights shifted to soft blues and greens. Aaron felt a sense of peace he had not known since leaving Earth. This world was strange, yes, but it was also full of life, wonder, and opportunity. And he was at the center of it all, learning from someone who had every reason to fear him, yet chose to show patience and understanding. For the first time since his arrival, he felt that he belonged here, not as a conqueror or intruder, but as a learner, a human capable of making a difference. And he knew that the lessons he would learn here from Lyra and her world would change him forever. The next morning, Captain Aaron woke to a soft vibration in the palace floor. It was subtle, but he noticed it immediately. Something was off. He got up quietly, checked his equipment, and decided to investigate before breakfast. He had learned that in this world, small disturbances could quickly grow into larger problems. He followed the soft hum through the corridors, moving carefully. The palace that had seemed so peaceful yesterday now felt tense, as if it sensed something wrong. The wall's lights dimmed slightly, and even the floating gardens seemed quieter, as though holding their breath. He found Princess Lyra in the main control chamber, speaking with her advisors. Her usual calm glow flickered slightly, betraying her concern. She noticed him immediately. "Aaron," she said, "you should not wander alone. There are shadows in the palace today." He stepped closer. "Shadows? What do you mean?" She turned to one of her advisors, who whispered something quickly. Lyra's expression hardened. "There are those in my court who do not trust you, who may try to use your presence against me." Aaron frowned. "Use me? How?" Lyra's eyes softened briefly. "Some believe humans are dangerous. They think your presence could cause chaos, perhaps even challenge my authority." Aaron nodded slowly. He had encountered suspicion before, but this was different. This was a palace filled with alien sophistication, and he was a human, a stranger. He realized he would have to be careful, but he also knew he could not just hide. "I will be careful," he said, "but I want to help." Lyra studied him, then nodded. "Very well. We must find the source of unrest. Come with me." They moved through the palace, carefully observing the halls and chambers. Guards watched them closely but made no move. Aaron noticed subtle signs of sabotage, tools left in unusual places, devices slightly misaligned, and energy flows fluctuating where they should have been stable. Someone had been tampering with the palace systems. Lyra's glow intensified as they approached a corridor filled with floating energy conduits. Sparks leapt from one device, and the floor trembled slightly. Aaron stepped forward instinctively. "Stand back," he said, examining the conduit. "I can fix this." Lyra hesitated, then nodded. "I trust your judgment, human." With careful hands, Aaron adjusted the conduit, using principles he had learned on other worlds, and mixing them with his own intuition. The sparks faded, and the energy flowed smoothly again. Lyra watched quietly, her eyes reflecting surprise and admiration. "You think differently from us," she said softly. "You see solutions where we see only rules and structure." Aaron smiled faintly. "Sometimes rules are good, but they can also blind you to possibilities." As they continued, they found more signs of deliberate interference. Energy nodes were misaligned, doors were unlocked, and some of the palace staff seemed nervous, whispering in corners. Aaron realized the danger was closer than they thought. "We must move quickly," Lyra said. "If these saboteurs succeed, the palace could fall into chaos." Aaron nodded. "Then let's stop them." They followed the disturbances to a chamber at the edge of the palace. The door was ajar, and inside, several figures worked on devices that controlled the palace's main energy flows. They froze when Lyra and Aaron entered. "You dare?" Lyra said, her voice steady but full of authority. Her glow brightened, illuminating the chamber. The figures hesitated. "Princess, you do not understand," one began. But Aaron stepped forward. "You're tampering with dangerous energy," he said. "Do you want the palace to collapse, to put everyone in danger?" The saboteurs exchanged glances. They did not expect a human to speak with such clarity and authority. Aaron continued, "I am not here to fight, but I will stop you if you threaten this palace." Lyra watched silently, her eyes flicking between Aaron and the saboteurs. Then, she stepped forward. "Enough. You will leave this chamber immediately or face the consequences." The saboteurs hesitated again, then backed down. They left quietly, muttering under their breath. Aaron exhaled slowly, feeling a mix of relief and adrenaline. "You handled that well," Lyra said, her voice softer now. "Humans, you confront danger directly, not with hesitation. That is unusual but effective." Aaron shrugged. "I do what I can, but I could not have done it without you." She studied him. "Perhaps humans are not only brave but capable of wisdom in action. You saw what we did not see, and acted before disaster struck." As they walked back through the palace, Aaron noticed Lyra's expression had changed. The shock from their first encounter had faded. Now there was curiosity, respect, and even trust. He felt a small sense of pride. That night, they met in the observation chamber overlooking the city. Lights flowed along bridges and towers, citizens, moving gracefully among them. Aaron felt a strange sense of peace, but he knew the danger was not completely gone. Lyra spoke softly. Humans, you act differently. You trust your mind and your heart together. It is admirable. Aaron smiled. That's what we do. We see the problem, think, and act. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But we try. She nodded. You have earned my respect, and perhaps in time you will earn the respect of my people. Just then an alert sounded. Lyra's glow brightened immediately. Another disturbance, she said. Closer to the heart of the palace. Aaron stood. Then we should move quickly. They ran through the corridors, reaching the central chamber. There, a device controlling the palace's energy grid was failing. Sparks flew dangerously, and the energy flow fluctuated, threatening the entire structure. Aaron took a deep breath. Stay back, he said. He examined the device carefully, analyzing the energy patterns. Then he worked quickly, adjusting conduits, stabilizing flows, and redirecting energy safely. The device calmed, lights returning to normal. Lyra watched quietly, her eyes full of admiration. You, humans, you think in ways we cannot. Your mind is your strength. Aaron smiled. And your people, your technology is amazing. Together, we make a good team. For the first time, Lyra allowed herself to smile fully. Yes, perhaps together, we are stronger than we imagined. The palace settled into calm once more. Aaron realized that danger had not just tested him, it had shown the princess that humans were more than she had expected. Courage, ingenuity, and quick thinking had bridged the gap between them. That night, as Aaron looked out over the city, he felt a sense of connection he had never experienced before. This world was alien, yes, but it was full of life, challenge, and possibility. And he had begun to earn the trust of someone who could shape its future. He realized something else too. Humans were not just visitors. They could make a difference, even in the most unexpected places. And he, a single human, had already begun to change the course of events in this alien palace. Lyra stood beside him, quiet but present. They did not need words. The trust, the respect, and the bond of shared experience were enough. They had faced danger together and survived. And in that survival, they had discovered something important. That understanding and collaboration could overcome fear, suspicion, and even shadows of danger. For Aaron, it was a lesson he would carry forever. For Lyra, it was a revelation. Humans were not merely strange creatures from afar. They were capable, brave, and perhaps valuable allies. And for both of them, the story was only beginning. The morning light of the alien world bathed the palace in soft golden hues. Captain Aaron walked carefully through the corridors, aware that the previous disturbances were only the beginning. The palace, so full of life and beauty, now felt like a fragile web. One wrong move and chaos could spread everywhere. Princess Lyra met him near the central chamber. Her glow was steady, but her eyes betrayed concern. The opposition is becoming bolder, she said. They test our patience and your presence. Aaron nodded. Then we have to be ready. Show me what they're planning. Lyra led him to a chamber filled with floating maps and holographic projections of the palace. Some areas were marked in red, showing points of vulnerability. They plan to sabotage key energy nodes, she explained. If they succeed, the palace could collapse. Hundreds could be harmed. And they hope to blame you, humans, so that my authority will weaken, Aaron frowned. Then we need a plan they can't predict. Lyra studied him. Humans, you act unpredictably. Perhaps that is why I trust you. The court expects caution and obedience. You act? Aaron smiled faintly. Then I'll act. They moved quietly through the palace, checking the nodes marked in red. Each one had small tampering signs, wires shifted, conduits misaligned, security systems disabled. The saboteurs had been careful but not careful enough. Aaron's human intuition noticed details the alien engineers had missed. "This one here," he said, pointing to a glowing conduit. "It's been altered to overload at a specific time. If we wait for them to act, it will cause a chain reaction." Lyra nodded. "Can you stop it?" "I can," he said. "But I need to approach it in a way they won't expect. They assume predictable behavior. We'll use that against them." The princess's glow brightened slightly. "Very well. Show me your human way." Aaron stepped forward and began adjusting the conduit. Instead of following the standard procedures the engineers would use, he combined logic, improvisation, and quick thinking. He rerouted energy flows, created temporary buffers, and set decoys that would mislead the saboteurs. Sparks flew and the lights flickered, but he kept his focus. Lyra watched silently, fascinated. "Your mind works differently. You do not follow rules blindly. You invent solutions as you go." Finally, the energy flow stabilized. The conduit hummed smoothly, stronger than before. The saboteurs, watching from hidden chambers, could not anticipate what had happened. Aaron had outsmarted them. "You have done well," Lyra said quietly, a note of admiration in her voice. "I underestimated humans." Aaron shrugged. "We adapt. That's what we do." But the threat was not over. More nodes were at risk, and the opposition was clever. They would not give up easily. Aaron and Lyra moved from node to node, combining human creativity with alien technology. Each time Aaron devised unexpected solutions, rerouting energy flows through untested paths, using tools in new ways, and predicting what the saboteurs might do next. At one point, they encountered a locked chamber. The door was protected by multiple layers of energy fields and security codes. Alien engineers had failed to open it safely. Aaron examined the panels carefully. "I think I can bypass this," he said. He connected a small device from his pack, a simple human tool adapted for alien technology. Lights danced across the panels, and the door slowly slid open. Lyra's eyes widened. "You opened it. No one has done that in decades." He smiled. "Sometimes a human tool is enough. We improvise." Inside the chamber, they found more tampered nodes. Aaron worked quickly, restoring stability while Lyra observed. She was impressed, not just by his skill but by his calm under pressure. "The court will not believe this," she said softly. "A human, acting alone, prevents disaster where our engineers could not. It is remarkable." Aaron shrugged. Again. "I'm just doing what needs to be done." The day continued with tension building. Every step brought new challenges, but Aaron's human ingenuity kept them ahead of the opposition. By evening, the palace was stable again, and the immediate threat had passed. Lyra and Aaron stood together on a balcony overlooking the city. Bridges of light connected towers, citizens moving gracefully below. The palace was alive, vibrant, and safe, for now. "You have shown me. Humans are not only courageous but clever," Lyra said. "I see why my people feared us, and why they might admire us." Aaron smiled. "We are full of surprises, and we work best when we combine our minds with others, even alien ones." Lyra nodded. "Yes, you have taught me something important. Predictability is not always strength. Creativity, courage, and quick thinking, these are also powerful." As night fell, the palace shimmered in soft purples and blues. Aaron realized that his presence here had done more than stabilize energy flows or prevent sabotage. He had shown the palace and its princess that humans were capable allies. The next day, Lyra invited him to observe a council meeting. Advisors gathered, discussing policies, trade, and security. Aaron noticed subtle glances at him from several council members. They were wary, perhaps skeptical, but also curious. During the meeting, a new alert sounded. This time, the danger was immediate. A drone carrying energy cells had malfunctioned in the city, threatening a cascade of energy overloads. The council debated options, but Aaron noticed the patterns instantly. "Let me handle it," he said, quietly to Lyra. She nodded. Be careful. Aaron left the chamber and moved swiftly through the city's floating bridges. Using a combination of alien technology and his own intuition, he intercepted the drone, rerouted the energy cells, and prevented the overload. Citizens watching below gasped in amazement. They had never seen a human act with such precision and calm. Returning to Lyra, he found her waiting, her glow bright with pride. You saved many lives today, she said. And yet you do not seek praise. Aaron shook his head. Praise is not important. Stability is. Survival is. She smiled. You have shown the court, and me, that humans are not what we feared. You are resourceful, brave, and capable of thinking in ways we cannot. The palace seemed different now. The shadows of danger had passed, and humans were no longer seen as intruders but as potential allies. Aaron felt a sense of accomplishment but also understanding. Humans had strengths beyond strength and numbers. They had creativity, courage, and the ability to adapt quickly. Lyra stood beside him as they looked over the city again. Tomorrow, we may face new challenges, she said. But now, I see that together, humans and my people can overcome them. Aaron nodded. And I will be ready. That's what humans do. We learn, adapt, and act. For the first time, the princess smiled fully, her shock and caution replaced by respect and trust. She had seen the human advantage firsthand, an advantage not in power or size, but in mind, heart, and courage. As night fell, Aaron felt a deep sense of satisfaction. He had entered this world unexpectedly, shocked a princess, and now, through his actions, he had begun to change perceptions, bridge worlds, and prove that humans could be more than anyone imagined. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, yes, but for now, he and Lyra stood together on the balcony, united by trust, respect, and the knowledge that humans had something special to offer, even in the heart of an alien palace. And in that quiet moment, Aaron realized something important. Bravery alone was not enough. Creativity, courage, and quick thinking, the human way, could turn even the greatest dangers into opportunities. The shadows had passed for now, but their lesson remained. Together, human and princess could face anything. The morning light of the alien world filtered through the palace windows, casting ribbons of color across the halls. Captain Aaron woke early, as usual, feeling a mix of anticipation and determination. The previous days had been full of challenges, unexpected entry, palace intrigue, sabotage attempts, and dangerous energy failures. But he had survived, learned, and proven his worth. Princess Lyra met him in the central chamber, her glow steady and calm. Yet there was something different today. Confidence, respect, perhaps even admiration. Today will be important, she said. The opposition has gathered its forces for one final attempt. We must be ready. Aaron nodded. Then let's ensure it fails. Together. They moved through the palace, checking all energy nodes and conduits. Every detail mattered. Aaron noticed subtle signs of tampering, wires slightly misaligned, security protocols bypassed, but his human intuition had become sharper with every encounter. This one looks prepared for sabotage, he said, pointing to a main energy node. If they act, it will affect the entire palace. Lyra studied him. Then we must prevent it. How? Aaron smiled faintly. I have an idea, but it is unconventional. She tilted her head, intrigued. I trust your judgment, human. Show me your way. Aaron worked quickly, rerouting energy flows through alternative paths, creating temporary buffers, and placing decoys to confuse anyone watching. Sparks flew briefly, but the system stabilized, stronger than before. He had learned to combine human ingenuity with the palace's alien technology, and it worked beautifully. Lyra observed silently, her eyes reflecting pride. You do not act as we expect. You see solutions we cannot. That is remarkable. The palace suddenly shook as alarms blared. The saboteurs had moved. A drone swarm advanced toward the palace core, carrying volatile energy cells designed to trigger a catastrophic chain reaction. Citizens looked on from the city below, unaware of the danger creeping closer. Aaron and Lyra moved swiftly. "We need to intercept them before they reach the core," he said. Using a combination of alien technology and human tactics, Aaron calculated the best path to intercept the drones. He activated control panels to reroute energy barriers, redirecting the drones into safe zones. Lyra assisted, guiding him through the palace's network of energy flows. The drones approached rapidly. Citizens gasped as energy streams lit the sky. Aaron stayed focused, analyzing each drone's path and adjusting flows. One by one, the drones were intercepted, diverted, and neutralized without causing harm. Finally, the last drone was secured. The palace energy grid hummed smoothly once again. The city below erupted in quiet awe, witnessing an event that few would ever forget. Lyra turned to Aaron, her glow brighter than ever. "You saved the palace. You saved lives. And yet, you sought nothing in return." Aaron shook his head. "It was not about reward. It was about keeping this place safe, about helping people." Her eyes softened. "Humans. Your courage, your mind, your heart. They are remarkable. I see now why my people feared you, and why they should respect you." Word of Aaron's actions spread quickly through the palace. Advisors, engineers, and guards came to see him, their expressions a mix of awe and gratitude. Many had doubted him, but now they witnessed firsthand the power of human ingenuity. Lyra stepped forward, raising her hand to address the court. "Today, we have seen proof that humans are not intruders," she said. "They are capable of courage, of cleverness, and of protecting what is precious. Captain Aaron has saved our palace, our citizens, and our people. He has earned our trust and our respect." The council members exchanged glances, some nodding, others bowing slightly. Aaron realized that his presence had not only prevented disaster, but had also changed perceptions. Humans were no longer outsiders. They were allies. Later, in a quiet chamber overlooking the city, Aaron and Lyra stood side by side. The city below shimmered with bridges of light and floating towers. Citizens moved gracefully, going about their day unaware of the near disaster that had been prevented. "You have taught me much," Lyra said softly. "Not only about courage, but about thinking differently, seeing possibilities, and acting with purpose. Humans, you bring something unique." Aaron smiled. "And your people, your world. It has taught me wonder, patience, and the beauty of thinking in harmony with life itself. I have learned more here than I ever imagined." She studied him closely. "You entered unexpectedly. You shocked me. But in doing so, you showed me the value of trust, courage, and ingenuity. Perhaps this is only the beginning." Aaron's heart beat faster. He had never expected that his actions would form a bond so strong, not only with a princess but with an entire world. "I hope so," he said. "I want to help. I want to learn. And maybe, one day, teach others what humans can do." Lyra smiled faintly, a mixture of pride and curiosity in her expression. "Then let it be so. The bridges between our worlds are open. We will learn from each other. We will grow stronger together." Days passed, and the palace slowly returned to normal. Energy systems were fully restored. Citizens resumed their routines, and the opposition faded into silence, unable to challenge a palace united by trust and human ingenuity. Aaron continued to work alongside Lyra and the palace engineers, teaching them small human tricks, helping repair delicate devices and offering new perspectives. He realized that humans were not just strong or courageous. They were adaptable, creative, and capable of changing situations through clever thinking. Lyra observed him often, noting his patience, determination, and insight. The shock of their first encounter had long disappeared, replaced by a growing bond built on respect and shared experience. She had learned to trust him completely, One evening, they stood on a balcony together, watching the city glow in the soft light of the alien sun. Bridges of light stretched in every direction, citizens moving gracefully along them. Aaron felt a sense of peace and accomplishment. "You have changed perceptions here," Lyra said. "Humans were once considered unpredictable and dangerous. Now they are seen as allies, friends, even valuable partners." Aaron smiled. "We've learned from each other. That's what humans do. We adapt, we act, and we grow stronger with knowledge." She glanced at him, a quiet warmth in her eyes. "And we will continue to learn from you. I see now that humans bring something precious: courage, creativity, and a willingness to act when needed most." For a moment, they stood in silence watching the city together. It was a quiet but meaningful moment, a recognition of trust, partnership, and the potential for future collaboration between worlds. Aaron realized that his journey here had changed him. He had entered unexpectedly, faced danger, and earned the respect of an alien princess and her people. He had shown that humans were capable of more than others believed, and he had discovered that courage, ingenuity, and a willingness to act could make a difference anywhere in the universe. Lyra spoke, softly. "The palace is safe, the opposition defeated, and you have earned a place here among us, not as an intruder but as a friend, an ally, and someone we can trust." Aaron felt a warmth in his chest. Thank you. I never expected this. I only hoped to help," she smiled. "And that is why you succeeded. You acted not for glory or reward, but because it was the right thing to do. That is the way humans shine brightest." The city below shimmered in soft hues, reflecting the peace that had been restored. Aaron looked out over it with Lyra, understanding that this was more than just a palace or a city. It was a bridge between worlds. Human ingenuity and alien sophistication could coexist, complement each other, and build something greater than either could alone. Lyra's glow softened as she turned to him. "Together we have learned much, and together we will face whatever comes next. Our worlds are different, yet connected, and perhaps this connection is what makes both stronger." Aaron nodded. "I agree. Humans are capable of many things, but we are strongest when we work with others, when we combine our skills and our minds." She extended her hand, a gesture of friendship and partnership. Aaron took it, feeling the warmth of trust and mutual respect. In that moment he understood something profound, that humans could bridge not only galaxies but hearts, ideas, and worlds. As night fell, the palace glowed softly, the city below alive with gentle light and motion. Captain Aaron and Princess Lyra stood together, looking out at the horizon. The challenges of the past were behind them, and the future was open, full of possibilities, collaboration, and hope. Aaron realized that his journey had begun with a simple act, entering unexpectedly. It had caused shock, fear, and uncertainty, but through courage, ingenuity, and respect, he had shown the value of humanity. And in doing so, he had forged a bond that could last across worlds. Lyra's eyes reflected the city lights, and for the first time, she spoke words with certainty and warmth. "Welcome, human. You are part of our world now." Aaron smiled, knowing this was more than acceptance. It was trust, friendship, and the beginning of a future where humans and aliens could learn, grow, and thrive together. And in that moment, he knew that the story of the human who entered unexpectedly and shocked a princess had become something far greater. A story of courage, ingenuity, and the power of bridging worlds.